Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita, and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor India. The session will run over the next 60 minutes, including Q&A. But before we begin today's session, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat section will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. So please feel free to drop all your questions in the chat section. Let me bring in Bhargavi, our speaker for today's session. There you go. Over to you, Bhargavi.
Uh, Thank you, Rashmita, for the brief introduction. And welcome you all for another session on Reactor for having on with me. Today's topic we would be covering about transforming business process with multi-agent AI using semantic kernel is something that what we would be seeing on. Under this, what we would be doing is we will be seeing what is an intelligent AI program and how will it be helpful to perceive its environment, reason behind it, and all other things that what we would be seeing with the help of the semantic kernel and the multi-agent AI is something that we would be seeing on in the whole session along with the demo part, and I would be taking up the question and answer at the last. Before we get started, let me introduce myself. I am Bhargavi and I am working as a senior software engineer. And I am an Microsoft MVP and an MCT, and I do give sessions globally, and I do write blogs and articles, wherein you can find my blogs and articles under C Sharp Corner, and then there are different forums which are being there as well. And this is my LinkedIn QR code, wherein you can get in touch with me post the session if you have any doubts, and I would be happy to answer you up uh, post the session as well. With that, the agenda for today's session would be we will be seeing on the introduction to intelligent agents, and then we would also be covering the use cases and the industry applications on what all it is. And then we would be seeing about the Azure AI agent service on how does it work and what all it's kind of um, different different platform where you can use the intelligent AI, and then how your architecture is kind of changing when it comes to the core components like memory grounding and different part that what we have. And then we would be seeing an implementation with the help of the semantic AI and the multi-agent AI that what we have. So that's something that we would be covering on. So to get started with, intelligent AI is something that which has been kind of like uh, so so high at the technology right now. To get started with, what does this intelligent AI mean? Intelligent agents mean is consider it something to be like a program that can perceive its environment, reason behind, reason based on the goals, and act accordingly. So to consider the same, or to distinguish it along with the traditional automation that what we have, we can market something to be we can tell something it to be having, it can take decisions on its own, and it can adapt to the context that what we give. So these kind of things are being there inside the intelligent agent that what we have. And uh, to to be uh, to be on a lighter note, imagine it to be something like a virtual assistant. wherein you are giving in the user request, and it reads something like a junior employee, and who would be reading all the mails, and from there it would be interpreting the meanings, and it would be deciding on what to do next by itself, without you giving it kind of like much training, or you don't have to sit and do your things for it, is something that the AI agent would be kind of like having. And that's where the intelligent agent plays a major role on. And few examples that would be having the intelligent AI is something like what we discussed is the chatbot that can handle the dynamic queries, and then if at all you want to have the email summarizers like copilot and outlook you have, right? So those kind of things that what you want to have on. And then imagine it something to be like a hr bot which would be screening the resumes and scheduling the interview on by itself, by reading through everything, and then getting through all those things, is something that those kind of commonly used examples which are being available for the intelligent AI, I would say. So when we go for real world use case of intelligent AI, intelligent agents, so what it would be doing is like, intelligent agents are already being used in many industries currently itself. So their ability to automate the um, task has unlocked the levels of its productivity, and they are used in various things. Like if you take on with customer support automation, then that would be assisting you on chatbot that would be handling the FAQs, and then when you want to run the ticket creation, or whatever the return that what you want to have, so all these kind of things can be handled over there. And when it comes for healthcare, like when you have the virtual assistant being involved with having the guidance which can assist the patients, or when it can book your appointments, or that would be helping you up with what kind of help that what you need along with the doctor. So those kind of things that what your virtual assistant can do with the help of the intelligent AI. So when when it comes to like, assume that you are giving in the input, and that is getting passed on to the intelligent agent, and what happens here is like, it goes on with reasoning, and then it takes up the another action which is the actions, and then it would be kind of like the goal will be achieved when it comes for the whole circle of intelligent agent, is something that I would say on. So the major part here lies in reasoning and actions, wherein it would be taking up the value of having all the different things that what you do on. And when we move on, like when we have the Azure AI agent service, then it's something like, uh, when the AI agent is being Microsoft fully managed solution, that would be having the intelligent agents that can perform like the similar one that what we had there, right? So those kind of things would be available here, wherein you can go ahead and consume the same inside the AI Foundry, and that combines with various things like Azure OpenAI reasoning, and that will help you up with planning, execution, action, and other things. So the various feature that what you can have is like, you will have the secure agent hosting being done, and then you can have the built-in support which can be done for the LLM, and you we can have something like multi-agent workflow, like what we would be discussing in a bit while. And then it can also integrate with various Azure tools, is something that which would be helping us on the whole thing of the Azure AI agent service. So when it comes for the whole output, like we will be having the Azure AI agent service here, and we will also be having the Open AI for reasoning, and then it would also have the actions via the plugins. And from there you can achieve the goal that what you have been planned, and from that you can achieve it, like either you can use it via the plugin, or you can use the logic apps or power automate, or the Azure functions to get integration being done for it. Or on a simpler note, you can also combine it with retrieval augmented generation for the grounding purpose that what you have. So these are the different ways that what you can do with, and from that you can achieve your result on. So when it comes for the overall architecture that what we have something called as input, and then we do have the agent orchestrator, and then we do have the LLM which has been used for planning the let me start with what all we have, and then let me go in deep of it. So we have the input, and then we would also be having the orchestrator, and then we would also be having the assume some things to be like orchestrator, wherein I would be covering it as part of this whole architecture that what we have. And then we have the LLM, like the GPT, and then we have tools being added for it, and then we have output channels which would be sent to the user. Now coming in deep of what all these things have. So it would be something like when the user gives a input, then that can be in the format of either chat, email, or API, or that can be in the format of like form input. So that can be of anything. And when that is being given from that, it gets into the orchestrator, which is like the AI agent service, which acts in as the agent orchestrator here. And that agent orchestrator would be the one which would be helping you to assist with some things like what you wanted to have on, like it would be using the Azure Open AI for understanding and reasoning. And then you can also have the planner being done for it. So there can be different kind of things that can be used under the orchestrator here. And then like uh, you can have the planner which would be used for breaking up the complex goals into a subtask. And then you can have the plugins being added for you, and that plugin can be of either like SharePoint, or that can be of any CRM applications that what you want to combine with, or that can be like Power Automate, or the logic apps that what you want to have. So these kind of things that what you can have inside the orchestrator as a whole. And like there are plugins which can be added as well. So along with it, you will also have the LLM being added, which is something like which should be powering the reasoning inside the agent, and that would be helping you up in answering or acting so smart. So, and this is like and at last it would be giving you back the result to the end user, and that can be in the format of like either email, or that can be in the format of Teams, or that can be in whatever the format that what you are expecting to be on. So this is all about the architecture that what we have under the Azure AI agent service. If you don't understand anything at this moment, and if you feel something confusing, then we would also be seeing what is what in the demo part, so that you can get to know on it on a better understanding. And if, if at all you have some queries, please do put in chat, and I would be happy to take that up at last. So moving on to next part, which is like, what is meant by the AI foundry that what we have, and integrating the ones that what we have inside the foundry. So what it happens is like, we will be having the Azure AI agent service, which can be having the various kind of the agentic services that can be added up as part of the Azure here. And what we can in general, we will be having the Azure AI content safety being added for us on all kind of the on all kind of the things that what we do. And apart from that, we would also be having the models which can be chosen from the various things, like you can have the GPT models, and you can have DeepSeek, or you can have third party models which are being available under the foundry. So there are n number of models which would be available from there. And there are different kind of like monitoring services which are being available as well, where you can go ahead and choose that along with the foundry. So this is the overall architecture of how does the Azure works for the agentic AI. And now we will try to understand a more deep of what is meant by multi-agent, so that it would make, that's the part of the solution that what we would be seeing as part of today's session. So it's something like, when you have multiple agents being added, or each, let us assume something to be like, each will be working on a different skill, and that would be giving up the whole solution together, then that becomes the multi agent. Let me state an example so that you can try to correlate the same here. Like you have three different agents, one is A, B, C. um, y- and the first agent A will try to understand the complaints on all uh, what all it can be. I mean Understand the complaints from the user is something that an assumption. And and there is a another agent which is agent B. So that will be checking up with the company's policy whether that particular complaint is as part of the company's policy or not. And agent C will be something like, will be writing a professional reply based on that format. So now you can correlate those three things together, right? Like three different part works in a parallel way. Like uh, one will be getting in the complaints, and one will be understanding the company's policy whether that suits or not, and the third will be writing in the professional reply that what it has. So there are three different agent which works in independently, is something to be called as the multi agent. And then you will also have the you will have, moving on to next part, which is the agentic AI foundry, which is where you can have the various kind of the agent. You can have various kind of the foundry models being connected to your agentic AI, and then you can have the different kind of the services that can be enabled, So from this understanding, what we can have is like we can have different, the Azure AI Foundry can be connected to the different pieces such as models, and then you can have various tools and frameworks that are there, and then you can have the same thing being connected to your different kind of like identity, and then you can have the same being connected to your networking observability, and there are different things which are being available for you. And that would also get connected with the Azure AI content safety as well, like what we saw in the previous slide. So it would try to connect up everything together, wherein you can go ahead and use those things in an effective manner. So that's where the agentic AI of Azure Foundry would be looking like. And when it comes for the components which are being available under the Azure AI Foundry, this plays a major role in understanding what do we have over there. So it's something like we will be having the models, and then we will be having the instructions, and then we will be having the tools being added as part of the three core components that what we have. So when it comes for this whole thing, what happens here is like the agent will receive the unstructured input such as prompt, and that would be passed on to the that would be passed on as part of the instruction. And what happens here is like they will try to produce the output, which would be in the format of either the agent messages, or that can be in the structured format. And what does this tool do behind it? So this tool is something that which would be used for having the various kind of the tool call that what it can do with. Like in the previous one that what we saw, like we can have either the memory that can act you up with the retrieval of the information, or you can have the actions which has been added as part of your uh, data retrieval, or you can add something to be like your rag, or different kind of the grounding techniques that can be added as part of this particular tools, and that would be giving you back with the result for the same. So assume that the agent is being filled with these three main things, and from there it would be giving you up based on the result. And that input can be in the format of either the agent itself, or that can be in the format of like system events or the user messages that what it can have. So that's where the whole difference of what all it can have differs on. And now moving on to what does this semantic kernel mean? So this semantic kernel is something like when you it's a developer toolkit for building the multi-agent model which are being available inside the Python, .NET, and JavaScript. And what it does is like it connects the LLM, and then it also has the tools, memory, and plugins being added for it, and you can go ahead and consume that. And and when it comes for something like the usage that what it work on, so you can use it for having the like the agent which can be using for prompts, or you can also use it something to have the external API call which can be done as part of the response logic, or you can have it for the multi-agent flows which can be having. So if the Azure agent AI service is the platform, then I would be saying the semantic kernel is the coding engine which is been behind it, and it would be helping you to have the agents being done from the scratch. Like when you want to do on a whole, then you would be using the semantic kernel, and from that you can go ahead and use the same. And then you have now that we saw what does the semantic kernel mean and what can we do with the help, what all we can do with, what is meant by multi agent and other things is something that what we saw till now. Now that we want to understand, from this moment we can integrate the same, like how can we integrate or orchestrate different kind of patterns which are being available inside the multi agent AI, so that we can integrate the same inside the semantic kernel. What we can do is like, we have different kind of things, like we have group chat, we have reflection, or we have selector, or we have swarm being available. And what does this group chat do is like, group chat will be having like, assume group chat to be like, uh, group chat to be like your agent can contribute inside the loop, right? So those kind of behavior that what your group chat can be working on. Reflection is something like when one agent review the other agent's output, then that becomes the then that becomes the reflection. Let me state an example for it. Like when you have the compliance being done for it, then you will be reviewing other developers work on what all it's been done, right? So similarly, when you want to do the reflection being done, then you will be going on with the reflection part here. And there is the third part, which is the selector part, which is like choosing the best memory from many of the agents which are being available. So the selector part would be working on with that. And what it does is like, it will be having the um, like the example can be of summary creation, that what you want to have, like you will be having preferences, and then you can choose from that in case of the chat gpt, right? So assume the similar one, so you can select it. It allows you to select the best response. So that's where the selector plays a major role on. Swarm is something like when you have the agent's work which has been done in parallel, then that becomes the swarm. So these four things play a major role in the multi-agent AI part. And this farm will be having the data extraction part being done for you on a like, if you are following some kind of like data extraction, then we will be going on with the swarm. So we will be covering a demo part as well in a while, so that you would understand how does the semantic kernel can be integrated with the help of the multi-agent AI. So now we understood the orchestration patterns which are being available under the multi-agent AI, right? Now let's start moving on, and let's try to understand what does it do in terms of like business value. So it would be helping you up in reducing the manual work which are being done, and then it would also helps you up in having the responses and response time and consistency being reduced for you, and different kind of things that what you can do can be integrated with the help of the agentic AI. Now now let me stop here, and let us come back to the life cycle of how does it work in a bit while, so that you would understand it better. So let's make a pause here, and let's go back to the Azure Foundry page, wherein you would have to, I mean, I am quick I am bit kind of like rushing up things what we had done here so that you would get an understanding of what is what. So first thing that what you have to do is like you have to create a Azure AI Foundry resource that is being done for you. And then when you have the Azure AI Foundry resource being done, then what you can do is like when you navigate inside that, you would be able to see a create resource, and you can create a resource from there. And if at all you have some resources, then you can have it over there. So when you want to integrate the same with Azure Foundry, then you have hubs and hubs and the AI Foundry being available. So when you go to AI hubs, and when you click on with project and create, when you click on with project and hub, then you will be having different kind of the options. Like hub is a one which would be maintaining all the projects, and project is something that what we would be working on. So you have the different options here, and you can navigate from your resource itself. Like when you had created a sample, then you can navigate from here, and it would be taking you up to the AI Foundry from there. So as part of the first step what we have, we will be having the endpoints. Like this would be the first page that what we are getting here. So we will be having the API keys being enabled, and you will also have the endpoints being enabled for you. So you can go ahead and consume if you are really wanting it to be written under the under some kind of like codes on Visual Studio Code, or some kind of like code editors where you want to have one. So when it comes for Azure AI Foundry, the first step of the agentic AI that what you want to have is like your model creation should be the first step that what you wanted to have on. So when you want to choose on, you can have different kind of the model which should be available, where you can go ahead and choose different kind of models from there. So let us see an example on how we can get the model. Like when you go to model catalog, you can have different kind of the models which are being available here, wherein you can go ahead and choose from those. Like there are more than around 1900 models which are being available, and you can choose from all of those, and you can get whatever the model that what you wanted to have on. Like uh, you have the latest models, and then you would also have the model like GPT-4 real time, and then you would also have DALI, or uh, DeepSeek, or you have different models like various things of like Mistral. So there are different models which are being available, where you can go ahead and use the same. And I have already deployed a model for my agent, so I am trying to use the same. So as part of the next step, what we would be doing is like we would be customizing it based on the need that what we have for customizing it. uh, so as part of the next step, what we would be doing is like we will be creating the agent here, and the agent would be allocated with the agent ID, and you will be choosing in a model here, and from there you would be getting in the detail. So when you click on with that particular agent that what you have created on, you will have the instruction that's been given for you, like where you can define in the instruction, and from there it can act based on that particular part. Now when you have given the instruction, the next part that what it should be acting on is like the knowledge that what you wanted to give on, like to make it customized way. To make it customized way, like there are different options wherein you can upload the file that what you have over your local files, or you can connect it directly to your fabric, or you can also make it via the grounding with Bing search, or there can be of anything that what you wanted to have on, and from there you can get the simple file load as well being done for you and proceed on. So when you are done with that, and now since we have the multiple agent being needed for us, I'm just trying to recreate the same thing so that let us assume that there are three different agents which are being available, and what we can have is like when you come and see here, like when you have the connect agent, then you will be having in an option which are being apart from the ones which you are currently working with. Like 789 is the one that what we are currently working with, and other two are the one which are being available. So you can have your agent being added here, and a unique name can be given for the same, and from that you can have the different steps being given for you, and you can add it. So when you want to whenever you are connecting the agent here, so what you would be doing is like you will be giving in the detailed description of what it has to achieve, or what it has to achieve, or how it has to activate that particular agent is something that you have to define in here, and from that it would be taking up the solutions, and it would be proceeding on based on that format. So you would be connecting the agent from that, and from there you can go ahead and use that. Now we saw everything on how we will be kind of like connecting in the various things, like how we can have the agents being connected, and then how we can have the knowledge base being added for it, and how the different things can be done. Like now as part of the next step, we have to test the model, wherein uh, we would be moving on to the play with playground, and we will be able to get all the details which are being already enabled, and when you type in here, then that becomes the code that what you had uh, typed on. And when you want this particular thing to be done, then you can have the authentication and other things being added for you. Then you will have the credentials, and like what we said, we will have the endpoint being added, and then you will also have the key being associated with it. Or if you want some kind of like changes that needs to be done, then you can go ahead and view the same in the VS code, and from there you can edit it. So this is all, this is the overall structure that what we can go ahead and use it. Now coming back to how we can use the semantic kernel part. So semantic kernel part is something like when you want to install this particular semantic kernel part, then you would be giving in the as like what you would be having in inside the Python, right? Like you will be giving in with the pip install, then you would be installing it in the similar way. And from there it's a simple kind of like semantic code logic which works on. So to make it work, what all we have added is like we have imported the libraries which are kind of like having the um, that should be kind of like asynchronous code that what it should run on. So we had imported this thing over here. And then these all are kind of like the core components which are being added as part of the semantic kernel components which are being there. And then semantic kernel offers a separate one which would be connecting in the OpenAI chat model, and from that you can go ahead and use that over here, which is via this format. And then you can also have the model which has been added, something like when you wanted to have the prompts being structured, and then when you want the templates to be added, then you would be adding in this way. And when you are done with that, then you would be calling in the main async function, wherein when you this particular thing would be acting in where it creates a kernel for you. And it would be like um, where you can think of it particular part to be as part of the smarter brain. Like that's the part where your function or function would start running in, is something that I would say. And um like if at all you want to manage some kind of like prompt at the below steps, like the below steps, then this is the part where it would start running on. To make it start running on, you would have to pass on with the key that what you have. I'm just giving in the key directly over here because it is just for a sample run that what we are doing, but this is not the right way that what you should be doing on. So we will be passing on with the API key over here, and once we are done with that, we will be giving some kind of like chat completions. And then it also gives us the AI based model. So these kind of like model that what you are trying to use, and what kind of service that what you are trying to give, so these kind of details are being mentioned under the add service. So this is where the service gets added on, and it would be defining and it would be printing up the solution for you. And as part of the next step, like what you wanted to have on, like it would be acting as a text where you would be taking in the input, and based on that input it would be like summarizing it, and from there it would be like printing in the templates based on the format that what we have as part of the kernel configuration. Kernel template that what we have. So these kind of things can be done with the help of the semantic kernel. Like the main advantage that what it does is like it would be executing your scripts being done with the help of the various template that what you wanted to have on. So this is something that on a higher level I would say, like you can go ahead and use the semantic kernel for your use case. Like this is how your semantic kernel can be used on. um so this is just a sample, and when we run this particular thing, then it should be stating something like we are passing in the input like uh, Microsoft Semantic Kernel allows developer to build for AI first applications, is something that we are trying to pass on. And the output would be in the format of like we will be getting the same thing, like it combines in the format of like the summary would be getting added on, and this particular line would get printed. And then from there it would be trying to get the output based on that format. Like it tries to combine everything, and it tries to add details based on that format. Like from that it would try to give the result, right? So what all the format that what it had been stored under the result, it would try to give you up based on that details. So this is how the overall thing of the semantic kernel can be written on. Now let us also see another example in a similar way, where you can go ahead and use the same thing for your kind of like the one that what we saw right now for multiple agent. Now I'm just showing these all as an example so that you can understand this better, and you can try to implement the same inside your uh, inside your inside your uh, AI foundry, and from there in the format of like um, app functions, and from there you can also connect the same with the help of the edit option which has been given here, or you can also connect it in the format of the editor. So these all things can be done with the help of this one. So um, now coming on to what how can we do with the help of the semantic kernel, like how we can use the agentic AI is like, assume we have different definitions here being done for different agent. Like we have three different formats. One will be kind of like analyzing the complaint, like what we saw for the definition of agentic AI. Multi-agentic AI, right? So that's the same thing that what we tried to do here as well. So one will be writing the output which are being given as part of the complaints team to the user, and one will be getting in the complaints which are being there for the um, from the user, and one will be having in the analysis of what it can do on, or what kind of the solution that what it can try to give on. So these are the different ways that your agent can be defined on. Like to start with, it's the similar way. Like we will be having in the kernel, and then we will be giving in the ad services, and from there we can have the Azure chat completion, and then you can have you should be giving in the code here, and from that it would be working on. So whenever you are trying to give your this is part of one agent, and this is part of the second agent, and this is part of the third agent, is something that what we have defined on. Now let us assume like how it's been given here. Like the first thing that what we wanted to do is like we wanted to create a function, and with the help of the kernel we will be doing the same with, like you have a create function from native method which has been available, and you would be creating that with the help of the same code that what you have here. Like what we do on is like we will be using in the various complaint methods which are being available as part of this particular thing. And if at all the function is kind of like being called analyze complaint, then that would be getting those details, and that would be working on with that particular way, and the description will be acting in for those things. And the second, we are doing the same for the rest too as well, wherein the solution function has also been created, and then we also give it for the refiner function as well. Now that the workflow has to happen. So happen here is like we will be giving in the output as something like new complaint, and the complaint that what we have, and I mean it's all the responses that what we try to give on. Now going on here, and what we have, I mean I we have just given the details here, like how we can define on a complaint, like uh, it should be in the format of having the various goals is something that what we tried to give on, and from there it tried to get the result for the same, and from that it like you are adding in the complaints, and from that, like handle complaint, it would try to get all the details being done for you, and if at all it's um, kind of like what kind of the detail that what you are giving in, then that would be segregating based on that format, and it would be giving you the result for that. So we will be having the result being generated for us, and from there we can have the details being loaded, and it would be giving the details on that format. So this is how it would be working on as an whole, and from there it would try to proceed on. So until here we had saw on how do we add the schema, like semantics kernel, which should be used for creating the services, and adding the service like this, and from there we also saw how do we create different kind of the agent that what we have given on, like we have defined on with different agent. From that it would be triggered on based on the format that what we wanted to have on, and from that it would be working on with a different way is something that we had seen so far. So now that going back to Azure Foundry, so now we have returned the code and everything that what we have, and now we wanted to like you want to have the various kind of the data that can be done, or you want to have the details that what you have needs to be evaluated, or you want to have some kind of the risk that needs to be added, then you can go ahead and find everything under the AI Foundry tab itself, and from there you can navigate and test the same. Now, assume that you have did with uh, everything. Like, let me go to agent and let me try the same. So, when we are navigating to the agent, and when we have changed the script as well, then we would be in the format of like we now have the changes been done for us, and let us assume like we will be having in the data which has been added, and like from here only we should be adding in the whole source code that's been available, like assume you had did everything in the local, and from there uh, you just want to select it, then you should be selecting it from here, and from that the whole kind of the code that what's been written will be kind of like changed based on the format that what you had given. And if at all you want some kind of like reference on how does it work, then you will have the base code which has been available here, and you can go ahead and use that. So when you want to test when you want your task to be tested in a kind of like then and there basis, then you will be coming in here and you would be testing in the same. Now I hope that the whole architecture of end to end flow of how do we create the multi agent architecture with the help of the semantics kernel is kind of like uh, clear for you. And we just have we just I mean um, I am now open up for any questions that what you have, so that I would be able to answer that up. And if at all we run out of time for today, then I would be happy to answer you offline as well. If you had a connect with me through LinkedIn, I would I would be
We
happy.
have few questions, so I'll just get it up
Sure.
for you. Yeah, I hope you can see the questions, Bhargavi.
Um, no, Rashmita. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. I can just read out. How can I get the
Okay.
codes shown in the demo?
Meaning like when you want to have the code which is been available, then you can navigate to the sample code which has been available here. And you can see the codes which are being available, and from that you can get the codes, or you can also add in the code that what you have here, like you will be having in the interpreter, and from that you can connect your whole data that what you have in your local being added, or if at all you want it in the format of something to be like um, in the format of like functions app um, functions, then you can go ahead and um, connect the same with the functions as well. So hope that that the question has been answered for you.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much, Bhargavi, for hosting this session, and thank you all for joining us today. Please visit Microsoft Reactor website for more upcoming sessions. Also, please scan the QR code and do share your feedback. Today's event ID is 25885. Feel free to use the Learn module links. This will give you access to additional resources to take your learning further. Thank you all once again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you all.